Okay, great. So
Getting
Kyle,
it
thank you
now.
again. I know this was last minute. Really appreciate you coming in here.
All
You
good.
have a really great Telegram channel I'm a part of. You share a lot of great knowledge about crypto and where things are going, and you have a lot of indicators that you follow. So I'd love to learn a little bit more, and for the layman, how you look at this and how you see the markets playing out over the next couple months here.
Absolutely. I'd like to share my screen later, but to kickstart it right now with crypto, I think we're in a phase where it's like the middle haircut. You see right here, same kind of thing. We couldn't get a haircut, so for months our barbers were shut down. We all, like so many of us, just shaved our hairs. And then that's kind of what happened with crypto with the pandemic sell-off. And now we're at a point now where we're starting to see some recovery, but we're still hitting the major resistance point of like Bitcoin 10,000, Ethereum 250, Link at $5. Some of these big coins that are just like stuck, right? Every time we hit a resistance point, and I wish I could share my screen, but very last minute, so I'm still trying to figure that out. But if anybody who's watching pulls open their screen right now and pulls open Bitcoin, you could probably see that and not stare at my ugly mug right now. But what we're seeing with a lot of Bitcoin now is we're just seeing like choppy waters. But if we look at the fundamentals over the technicals, which is kind of how I gauge my perspective, there was an announcement this week. Maybe it was a rumor, maybe it's not, but PayPal and Venmo said they were going to start accepting buy and sell of crypto. They're probably following suit of Jack Dorsey, who owns Twitter, but also Cash App, and he's making more money through the buy and sell of Bitcoin, only Bitcoin, than he is from Twitter itself, which is kind of crazy. So when you're seeing stuff like that, I think that we're gearing up. I mean, that's just one little aspect, but that's major. It's like 750 million users, something like that. We're seeing government coins starting to use crypto and starting to build as a backup plan. And they say backup plan, but when you print so much money, there's no way to log it all. And then what was it about I think CIA or somebody like that lost like some ridiculous amount of money off the books. Don't quote me on exactly what government agency it was, but there's been a lot of missing money this year alone with all this printing out. Every time this happens, it just makes me think the dollar is not as strong. So that's just another reason why crypto is getting stronger and stronger.
Hey Kyle, I got confirmation you should be able to share. Just try
yeah?
the green screen there.
Oh, share screen? Okay, gotcha. I'm hitting desktop, is that right? Share desktop? Open system preferences.
Yeah, either desktop or a specific window that you're looking to share.
Okay, let's see if I can do that. I wish I could do that. I think it's my Brave browser. See if I can pull this thing open on a. I'm sorry guys, it's like so last minute for me that I didn't have all this ready. I'm gonna try to pull it open in a Chrome and see if that works for us instead. Then I already have a window pulled open. That wasn't it. Sorry guys, I'll just keep talking in the meantime. I know that it's one-sided for me to talk, but if anybody has questions, that's probably something cool that we could do at this moment.
Yeah, sure. So, as you're looking at the markets, I mean, I think, as a trader, there's two different ways to look at it. And some people do a hybrid approach. Some people do full technical analysis, some people do fundamental, and some do kind of a hybrid approach. I mean, like, what is your overall approach as you're trading crypto, and how has that evolved over the years?
2017, when I got into crypto, I didn't know anything really about it. I've never traded stocks in my life. Still up to this day, I've never traded stocks. My uncle kind of got me into it. I didn't know where to start. So I started with YouTube, and then on YouTube, there's a lot of smart people and there's a lot of opinionated people and there's just a lot of naive people. So trying to get information in general is great, but every little one small piece of information that's not accurate is going to tank your overall sentiment. So let's say, I'll mention XRP because XRP has been a coin that since 2017 has not seen a lower high point. It's constantly just like that. You might see little spikes up. Sure, you can make money, but there's so many people holding and holding and hoping and waiting that if they just would have picked something like Ethereum or Bitcoin in general, they would have already made their money. So it's like something like that. When you get so much opinion saying XRP is the coin to hold because all the banks are working with it, what's to stop any bank from making their own coin or, you know, disassembling the whole ideals of what XRP was about back in 2017? The space has already evolved since then. And there might be people out there that love XRP, and I got nothing against anybody that has their reasons. I'm just saying from my perspective, I'm going for percentage points. That's the only thing I care about in crypto trading. I'm only in it to make money. As far as like the blockchain projects, I will support blockchain projects if they help make the world a better place or add value. But there's just so many different cryptos out there that it's like, how do you pick and choose which one? I'm just looking for swing trading. And right now it's been kind of hard to swing trade because you're seeing a lot of choppy charts and stuff like that. So when I got into it, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just like took some money. I was playing the long-term game, spot trading, where you're not doing leverage or anything. You just put money into a position and then you say, well, I'll cash out when it reaches this point, unless you don't have a game plan at all. And you're just like, I'll just hold it for a year. Well, anything can happen in a year. So that's probably not a very good strategy. So as I started making more mistakes and I started watching people that seemed to be making money, I would just like dial out different bits of information over time and adjust my strategy over and over and over and over and over. So to this point, now it's like there's so many coins out there. Binance is listing so many projects. There's so many different platforms, but I've traded on probably over a dozen platforms and they've all got their issues. Even Binance has their issues. But in the end of the day, I'm just looking to swing trade for percentage points. So with stocks, I've noticed that, you know, there's a lot of volatility this year, but prior to this year, you'd be lucky to make like 1 to 10% a day. In crypto, you can make 1 to 10% in like a matter of like 10, 15 minutes or an hour, depending on which coin. So I was like, if I can just do this all day, every day, like I'm obsessed with games. I play Tetris, I play chess, I play video games. Weaned off of that, got into crypto. If you put in the time and you can find a pattern, all you need is one pattern that works for you. If you can stick to that pattern and have a really good risk management system, I'm pretty sure that anybody who's trading, if you put in enough time, you could probably make this a full-time job because you can compound your money. Say you start with $1,000, you get 10% today. Now you got $1,100 tomorrow. What's 10% of 1,100 is $110. So as you do this over and over and over and over, you can quickly amplify. Like I think it's like 9 days it takes to turn $1,000 into $2,000 to double up at 10% a day. And if some of these coins are going up 30, 40, 50% a day sometimes, I'm not saying it's always like that, but if it does, then you can use that one pattern that works for you, stick to a coin that you understand the charts. The chart each has a life flow of itself. So say like when it's snowing, each snowflake could be similar, but slightly different. They're never exactly 100% the same. But if you stick to a pattern that works for you and you just do that over and over and over and over on one coin and don't go look for 100 different coins to invest in, look for one or two and just stick with it so that you know the flow so well of it that you can get in, get out, get in, get out, and start to time it almost like jump rope or like Tetris in a way. So that's how you can like especially right now where people are trapped in their homes and they don't have a lot of income sources. This could either be a second job or a main job, and you can just start doing this over and over and over, compound your money, and over time, you're gonna have a lot of money. And there's ways you can start with zero money at all, or with a little bit, but I don't suggest doing any leverage or putting a lot of money in until you have some sort of system in place for yourself.
So I just thought I'd just jump in here. I know you've had screen issues. So for the
Yeah.
average person that wants to get in, right, and you're talking about these different strategies and approach, what's the best way to start?
Simple. So I would say the first thing is follow the rules of crypto. Number one, don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Number two, have treat it like a business. So every business is like, let's say you're doing drop shipping or e-commerce or whatever. You have $5,000 to start. I need to make this work. If I don't make it work, I can lose it, but I can't lose it. So what I would say is like, have a game plan in place and say, why am I entering? What time am I entering? Is the market ripe for, you know, my sentiment? So if you're trading futures, you could trade, make money if it goes down or if it goes up. Right now, I would say we're in a medium ground where we don't know if it's going to go down, but I think it's going to break through. If it breaks through resistance, that's a good time to say, okay, I could enter. But I'd also say treat it like a business plan, like write up a full entire business plan for yourself. The third thing is get rid of your emotions, no emotions whatsoever, because that's where you're going to lose your money. I guarantee it. If you look at it and you comment, oh, I got to buy in now because all my friends are, or it's going up, I got to buy, then don't do it. Just wait till the next cycle because there's constant cycles happening. The fourth thing is just know how to protect your assets in the first place, like have a cold storage wallet. Yeah, not your keys, not your crypto. So don't store it on an exchange if you're not trading. If you're going to trade, put it on and then you can take it off. It only takes a couple minutes to send it from here back to your main wallet every day if you're done. And then I would say the fourth thing is just like learn from other people that have already either made mistakes or they kind of know what they're doing. Those are the 5 things I would say to start with before you get into crypto. Once you get in, pick and choose like an exchange that you like, that you're comfortable with. Know your way in and out of the market. I would say use a VPN no matter what. It doesn't matter like if you're in USA or you're not in USA or whatever, use the VPN because there's hackers out there that will see something and they'll tap into your email or whatever and they'll take your crypto. I mean, it's very, very, very rare that that happens, but it's your money. So if you're going to be your own bank, you got to put up layers of protection. I'll say that's probably a good start. And then from there, probably, you know, go to a couple YouTube channels where, I mean, I follow a couple people too that are like spot on with their technical analysis, but I would say kind of keep an open mind to the fundamentals of what's going on in the global economy, how the world is shifting towards digital assets. I mean, if you want to use this example, Xbox and PlayStation, the next generation are cutting out DVDs and CDs. So what does that tell you? That means we're going to be downloading more stuff. And if there's, I don't know how many billions of users using these 2 devices, and they're becoming the main devices as an all-encompassing like entertainment system. And if we're fading out of CDs, what does that tell you for everything else? That we're probably going to go digital. So if we're going digital, that's probably a big step saying crypto is going to start moving up. Who's working with whom? And that's probably a good place to like find what projects that you want to invest in. Something like Chainlink, doing big partnerships. Ethereum, everybody's building on Ethereum. They're like the OGs. They've been around forever. So that's probably a perspective that I would pick if I was first getting into crypto.
No, that's really good. Really good advice there, specifically around like how to get in. Don't spend what you can't afford. All those kinds of things. Do your own research. I mean, never listen to somebody on YouTube. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to Kyle. You have to formulate your own decisions and opinions based on looking at a lot of different types of research and listening to a lot of people speak in videos. This is a complex industry. This is not easy. Even I have, mistakes that I make all of the time as traders. And if there's a trader that always tells you that they're successful, they're just lying. We've all had issues. We've all had wins and losses. And if you can't learn from the losses, then you're never going to grow. And I think that's a really important thing. So Kyle, I don't know if you want to try to share your screen again, but it'd be really cool to see how you look from, look at this stuff from a technical perspective, and just like looking at a few charts and seeing some of the things that you layer on, whether it's an RSI or an AMA or whatever it is. It'd be kind of cool just to dive into that a little bit so people can see what you're doing.
No, I'm gonna try to use my iPhone and log in through my iPhone, because I know for sure it works on there, and then I'll just tap in that way, and then I can definitely show some stuff. For advanced, because I know not everybody that's watching this is a beginner, and I'm pretty sure there's some advanced people who probably want to get like deeper information than the basic stuff. So, let's say is like start looking, like if you got a certain amount of money. Let's say you've been trading for over a year in crypto, whatever, and you're looking to advance. I have people who I mentor that are like doctors that, a doctor is probably some of the most exquisite type of mindset you can get, because you have to be spot on. So I say, like, if you can develop that kind of mindset when you're trading, is like wake up every morning, set a pattern for yourself. When you wake up, make your bed if you don't do that already. Sweep the floor every morning. Do all your dishes right away. When you get to these little subtle mindset patterns, when you get into trading, you're going to make less mistakes, because you're going to catch yourself be like, well, I got comfortable. If you don't log into your finance every second of every day, then you're probably giving a chance for some big sell-off to happen, and there you go, you lost your money. So yeah, stuff like that kind of sucks. I'm logging in right now on my phone, and then I can. Oh, there I am.
We're just gonna mute the phone there.
Oh, yeah, let me see if I can go like it. Okay.
Yeah, but you must have seen that video. I can't remember who it was specifically. There was a video and maybe a keynote from a military leader that talked about the importance of making your bed every single day. Ever since I
Yeah.
saw that video, I started making my bed right away every single day. And it just sets the tone for being regimented, to your point. So I think there's definitely something to that. I don't know if anybody has any questions or thoughts thus far while Kyle's hooking that up. But what do you guys think? I mean, you guys are all, trading hopefully in some capacity. If not, there's no dumb questions here. So any questions for Kyle, somebody who's been in the industry quite a while, that's gone through it all, the ups and downs all around. So now is teaching and spreading the word about crypto trading to a lot of different people, from the very basic level all the way to very advanced. So if you have a question, you can type it in the Q&A, or you can just raise your hand like Rhonda has done a few times, or anybody from the Genius team if you guys want to hop in and ask a question as well.
Jeremy, can you share your screen for what you as a trader look at? CoinGenius hasn't built
Yeah.
all of the tools. Oh,
Kyle's got
nice.
it.
There we
Here we
go.
go.
Yeah, boy. Okay. Yeah, any questions that you guys have? I'm going to log out of my phone one real quick. Any questions you have right now is cool. If not, I'm just going to get into some basic TA and the 5 patterns that I use constantly. And these are the 5 that I always use. So we can go ahead and do it with Bitcoin while we're here. My battery's going to die, so give me 1 second.
While he's doing that, let me just explain. This is a chart. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get into it. I'll leave this for the experts. But yeah, I mean, to Christina's point, she's going to ask me what I look at. I mean, I'm going to be really honest with you. I look at a lot of things. It's my job, obviously, to research the industry on behalf of CoinGenius as part of our market research team as well. We're looking at everything, right? So I wake up and I do the same kinds of things. I look at the charts. I look at, even Twitter. I know that there's a lot of noise there, but there's a lot of gems there if you know where to look. There's a lot of trading groups. There's a lot of videos and news. And then the macroeconomic factors that we look at as well. And then some of our own analytics, including our new Telegram channel. If you want to join it, it's called CoinGenius Stats, which gives you real-time updates as to what's going on. So with that said, Kyle, I'll pass it back over to you, but that's just some of the stuff that I look at.
For sure. Yeah, I like to look at other people's sentiment, but over time, it's just like I just do it to see if they're on the same thought process as myself. Sometimes, like I see things myself, but sometimes I miss a lot of stuff. Like the thing about crypto is nobody's right or wrong until you're right. What I mean by that is anything can happen in crypto. And what Jeremy's always mentioned, and he's absolutely correct about this, is think like a whale. They move the market. Exchanges and the people with the biggest amount of money always run the market. They control the sentiment of the entire space. So if they have made their profits after a pump up, they're going to take the profits, as you see right here. Pump up, take profits, sell off, take profits, because they're probably shorting at the same time. If you're an exchange, the exchange makes money by liquidating people. So they want you to keep trading. Well, Binance wants you to keep trading all the time. And at the same time, they also want you to lose. So it sucks being a retail, because retail is like 3 tiers below like any whale or exchange. So looking at some TA, here's the 5 things that I do. The biggest one out of everything is support zones. And support zones are how many times the candlesticks have tapped that certain scenario. If you use a fib retracement, we don't have time to get into that because that's just like hella technical. So I'm just going to use my 5 basic ones. Up here would be a resistance, because we've tapped this point. And if you, this is 5-minute chart. If you go back to the day chart, you can see how many times we've tapped like the $10,000 mark and we just cannot break through it. Yeah, so coming here, I would draw up. Wow, I'm lagging. I would draw up from the day candlestick a trend line from our previous all-time high Bitcoin has ever been at, and go like this and realize that we still have not broken out of the triangle. No matter how bullish I am at some points, until we break through and hold above this descending trend line, we are not in a bullish market. We're still in the bear market from years ago. Until we break through this thing, is just not happening. So this is one of the biggest indicators that you can use on any time frame. It doesn't have to be day, it could be week, could be month, could be minute. Doesn't matter. Charts will always move up, move down, blah, blah, blah. So once you see something like this, and if we had not seen where this descending wedge could have been at this point. So every data point, which is what I love about Coin Genius, is that they use data points. So if we didn't have this data point right here, all we'd have is this, and we would not be able to gauge where to expect the market to head next. So because we got this and we dumped and we did not break it, we could have drawn that trend line right here and kept on going down. If you didn't see any of this prior and we've drawn it to this point, when was that? 2019. That was a year ago. So we didn't break that. So if we could have broken that, we could have been bullish, but we didn't break it yet. And I think that we still have a ways to go, because typically in other charts, if you look at a bunch of these things, you'll see that they'll play out all the way till you see like a tail. And then the tail is usually the breakout point. So it looks like we probably have months to go before Bitcoin technically breaks out. And that also makes sense for adoption, because I don't think the world is globally ready to just say, screw fiat, we're done. So I think there's still, if you treat it like a business, and this was like beta testing, because let's say you put together a business plan back here in this era for an actual business, you would put together like your pitch deck and like have you build your platform and do some testing and be like, okay, let's see what would happen if we allowed so many users to do it. We saw what happened. There was all kinds of glitches. There were scams. The exchanges would freeze up. Like you would be in a futures market and would freeze, and then it would dump drastically. Everybody would lose their money because there's so many people buying and selling that the platforms couldn't handle it. So it's like things like that, technical issues that if we were to adopt and we were to get back to this level again, with these exchanges in the amount of volume of retail coming in, would they be able to handle it? Probably not. That means a lot of people are going to lose their money, and that's not good, because that will tank an economy in itself. So if we're looking at TA here, we got to break this. If you want to come in, let's just leave it on this chart here. Okay, Another indicator to look for is double bottoms or double tops. Okay, we don't really see a lot of double bottoms here, for instance. I would say this could be a good double bottom. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. After a double bottom is like after we're doing a correction, we found a support, and this was a pretty strong support because you saw boom, boom, boom. All of this was sitting there, and we'd already pumped up past that point like pretty aggressively. When we came back there, it's usually 3 steps forward, 2 steps back in a way. So I'd say that's about 2 steps from the point of this pump up right here. I wouldn't say that was, I would say right here would be the point of, you know, if we were going 3 steps forward, that would probably be that support zone because this is just clearly a low point. So we're putting at ourselves about 2 steps backwards from this pump up from the bottom, which also puts us equal with a very strong support over here, which we saw a bunch of times. We tapped it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We saw a double bottom 1, 2. We knew we would pump up after a double bottom. This right here, I would not technically count this as a good technical indicator because that was the pandemic sell-off and nobody expected that except for maybe 1 or 2% of the people in the crypto space, and they probably made a killing. And I heard actually of some whales who got some of their shorts cut off about like right here because they were making so much money. So there was like a panic button for the exchanges. So I'd say double bottom and also a double top would also be something like this, even though this is descending. Let's say we pump up when we hit our trend lines. So I always draw my trend lines first. And if you're going to do it in order, I'd say trend lines and then resistance and support zones would be the next indicator I would use after a trend line. Because if you break through a trend line, we could be bullish. If we stay under a trend line, at least we understand kind of, you know, that we have to break through it or we're going to sit at previous support zones. So with that being said, I'm drawing this guy up right here. Bam. You see that? How we've tapped it so many times. This is probably the strongest support that we can get. And this, I can't see over here to the right, but I think that's like, let's see if I can move that. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's about $6,000. When people are saying we're going to dump down to 0 or 4,000 or whatever again, it's not going to happen. Okay, this is the strongest support that we can get. If we have like some other random pandemic sell-off, we might, but from a technical and fundamental standpoint, I don't see us going below 6 ever again, unless whatever government comes in or regulates and says no more crypto and then makes it hard for people. They'll just use a VPN and go to a foreign exchange. So let's see. So we got this. This is our support. This would be our resistance.
Pretty quick.
Sorry?
We have to wrap up pretty quick. We've got another speaker coming on at 3:30.
Oh, okay. So the third indicator was a double bottom, double top. If we pump up and we can't get past our point, then we're gonna sell off. And then a fourth one would be like these right here. These indicators, if you see a crossover and we're above it, we see a crossover right here, but we can't breach it, we're gonna tank. Once it crosses again, we go above it, then we're gonna go up. So those just be a couple indicators for you. If there's any final questions, I didn't get to my fifth one, but that ought to do you for now.
Kyle, thank you so much for doing this last minute. You're amazing. I'm going to give you one shot because like you said, nobody's really right or wrong until they're right or wrong. Yeah. So with that said, where do you think it's going next? You got maybe like 10 seconds. And if it's right,
where do I think it's
if it's
going?
Wrong, pretend it didn't happen.
I don't think we're going above 10,000 yet. I think we could, but if we're going to do a coin flip, I would say that we still got a couple months before we can break that 10,000 for Bitcoin, but Ethereum needs to break 250. If it does, look for a long. If Link Chain breaks $5, then look for a long. That's what I would say.
I would tend to agree with pretty much all those statements. So thank you, Kyle, once again. Really appreciate it. If they want to learn more about you, where do they go?
You could just hit me up on Telegram at Crypto Kyle, or check out my YouTube. There's all kinds of cool tutorials on there for beginners and advanced.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Have a good one.
Thank you.